Welcome, everybody. Okay, so why do you have a red connection bar, or why do your friends have a red connection bar when they're connecting to you? This is a question that has been asked numerous times. Before we get into that, though, my name is All Fun and Games. If you guys want to hang out with me, you can do so on my Twitch channel at allfunandgames.tv on Twitch. You can also join the Discord server, ask me any questions, or if you have any related problems and you want to kind of pick my brain about them, I am more than willing to help out at any time I can. And as well, anytime anybody's looking to play games with me, I am always open to play any games with anybody. My Don't Starve Together world is open to anybody that wants to join, so the more the merrier. But yes, let's kind of talk about what causes red connection. So most of the time when you go into a game, so let's just start a brand new world just to kind of get started. So you start your world out, you choose your settings, you go through, you decide to choose how many players. That is your first inclination of what could potentially cause an issue, because you want to make sure that your computer is basically it has enough specs in order to allow people to connect. A lot of people believe that the connection, the red connection, is strictly internet and that's it. And so when people connect to me, their internet's really poor, so that's causing my internet to have issues. That is not the case at all. That is the complete wrong case. Now, internet connection does have something to do with the red connection, but I'm going to go over that a little bit further down the road. So first, you want to decide how many players can my computer support. Before doing that, you're going to want to go to your Start menu on your computer. Click Start and type in System Information. And when you type that and click Enter, your computer is going to display your system information. There you'll be able to see how much, what processor you have, how much RAM you have, and basically from there you can kind of tell how much you're going to be able to support. So anything over 16 gigs should give you quite a little bit of wiggle room. It depends on what your processor speed is well too. So if your processor is something like an i3 or less, you're probably going to want to stick to the 6-person. If you're at an i5, an i7, an i9, or a higher-end Ryzen processor, chances are you can go above 6 people. So I generally try to stick around the middle ground. I have an i9 9900K with 32 gigs of RAM. I can play with about 12 players on regular 32-bit Don't Starve Together, but I could play around 22 players on 64-bit, although I haven't really tried that fully yet, but it does work pretty well. Now, the next step. So on average, I'm okay with 12 players connecting to my game. I obviously want to make a password so nobody else joins in. Then the next step is going through your world generation settings. Okay, so this also comes into play as well too. The more entities you add into your world, the more problems that you're going to have, and the longer it's going to take for people to connect to you. So I would probably advise, if you are going to add stuff, try to make it a little bit minimum depending on what your computer specs are once again. So for example, even though I have an i9, if I start adding multiple grass geckos, multiple pigs, etc., 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 and then I go to load the world, it's going to load slower for players. It's also going to cause issues to where we might have people trying to connect and multiple things are happening at the same time, and they're also getting the red connection. World generation settings, same idea. If you start pumping like a ton of grass or saplings and stuff, people have to load a lot more stuff when they load in. Now, mods. Mods come in very, very, very heavy. The more mods you have, the more connection for the players. So, here's the thing. If you have your basic mods, even if it's just something simple like a show me mod, which basically what the show me mod does is it displays how much time is left on a specific item. So how many uses are left on an axe, how many things, how much like health you'll get from an item, stuff like that. That is consistently changing. That's data that's consistently processing through your world of Don't Starve Together. So if you have 1,000 spiders, well, not that many. Let's just say 10 spiders, okay? 10 spiders, and it's displaying the health of those spiders. Now you have 100 spiders, and it's displaying that health. Well, that's where it's going to kind of get a little bit laggy for you and cause some issues. So you want to make sure you don't put too many mods on, but at the same time, you want to play around with it just to see. One mod that is a big problem for lag is called Global Positions. It's a mod that is a GPS mod, which tells players exactly where you are and tells players, what you're doing on the map. And this mod is one of the biggest mods why people tend to lag, because they use it. And what do they have on? They have Share Map. Okay. Let me explain what share map does. Share map shares your location on the map, but shares all the data on the map as well too. So that's where the problem with this mod comes into play. When you get into a world and say you're walking through the swamp biome, the map is now updating, saying there's only 3 tentacles left, there's 2 tentacles left, there's a bunch of reeds on the ground, there's this on the ground, while the player's over in that section. If you want to use GPS, but you don't want to share your location, you don't want to share the map. So when you go through the fog of war on a map, it's going if you're staying in one position and your friend is going to another, and you have share map on, whenever they explore, that'll show up on your side. However, if you want to increase your performance and remove any type of lag, you want to disable this, but allow where it still shows player icons. So that way it'll still show them on the map where they are, but it will not remove the fog of war. It's a really good way of removing any type of lag and not having any problem at all. Okay, so let's get into the world. I'm just going to connect real quick. I'm not going to load any mods. For the sake of it, I guess I'll load the GPS mod. I'm just going to jump in there and kind of go over a few other steps. So that way you can kind of get used to like, okay, well, what is the reason why I'm getting a red ping? Why are people getting a red ping when they connect to me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Because, you know, like I said, it really just depends on a few different factors, and that's why I want to walk through them. So then that way, you know, you're able to kind of tell, is it me? Is it the person connecting? Is it the fact that I have a bunch of mods enabled? What exactly is causing this major problem to happen? And it's very confusing at times because, like I said, a lot of people connect to your world. The immediate thing they say is, wow, nice, you know, nice internet you have. Like, I'm lagging like crazy. And like I said, that is not the case at all. Like, so if anybody's ever says that to you, and I'm going to show you exactly the way to know if you're lagging. So I'm not going to have anybody connect to me right now. Let's just go basic Wilson for the sake of this tutorial. But here we go. Okay, so you join into the world. You have friends join in as well too. Immediately you look at your little hotbar here and you say, well, what is causing my connection to be red? Now, that is exactly where you want to stop. My connection is red. What do you mean by my connection is red? If you're in a world and you're the host and your connection is red, that is where there is a problem. And that's when the problem is you either have too many mods, you have too many players, or your computer is just not handling being the host inside of a world of Don't Starve Together. So, for example, the other day I was hosting a world and I had plus 20 people inside the world. My connection went down to red because I had too many players and too many entities were being spawned in, okay? So you might join into a game and say, okay, my connection is green. Everything's working perfectly fine. 5 people join in. Uh-oh, my connection is red. On 3 players, I'm perfectly fine. That's your threshold. That is how many players you can now support into a game. You know that, hey, look, I have 5 friends that want to play with me. I can only support 3. I'm sorry. There's not much I can really do. And I don't even have any mods. That's when you say, okay, do I have too many mods? Maybe removing some mods. I can now play with those 5 players. I have no mods enabled. I only support 3. If I want to have mods enabled, I have to go down to 2 players, stuff like that, okay? And that's basically how you know, is it my connection or is it not my connection? Hypothetically, your internet is going really, really poor that day. It's having nothing but problems. You're having glitchiness with like connecting to the internet. Players connect to you. Every player is red. That's how you would know, hey, it is definitely my connection. You're moving around perfectly fine. You're not lagging at all. Everybody that connects to your game all have red connection. Clear indication that it's probably your internet causing that issue. However, people can still have a red connection if you're lagging as well too. But you will notice that lag. If your internet is being really bad, you're not going to have any lag at all. Don't Starve Together for you is all local, meaning that it's your computer loading it. It has nothing to do with internet. So if you're lagging yourself, that's performance on your computer. If you're not lagging and people are lagging on you, it's probably an internet connection at that point, in which you're probably going to want to try and do a speed test on your internet, going to Google, type speedtest.net, and then checking to see what your internet speeds are and how many people you can host at that point as well too. So I usually say that stick with the regular 6 players until you know that you can go more. If you have a lot of specs, if you have a really good internet connection, then go ahead and host as many as you want. The game doesn't take very many resources to use to host, especially with this new 64-bit architecture that they're launching for Don't Starve Together, 64-bit version of DST. There's more reason for wiggle room and more ways for people to host more players joining the server as well too. So with geometric placement, as I mentioned before, if you have it enabled and a player walks over here and they have shared map enabled, it's going to display everything over here. People are walking around consistently doing that. That's going to use up a little bit of your resources on your computer, and that's going to cause a little bit of lag as well too. But if you disable that, it's going to show them on the map here, 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 but the fog of war, aka the black part of the map, is not going to go away anywhere. So yeah, so that's basically how you know, okay, is it my connection? Is it my computer? Is it their computer? Which is entirely possible as well too. And that's how you obviously know if it's what the real reason behind the red connection is. So I hope this helped you a little bit. I hope that you're able to kind of pinpoint the cause of red connection. Never assume it's your internet. If anybody tells you that right away and your internet connection, if you're running perfectly fine and running around smooth and not having an issue, then you know 1000% it's not your internet. You can tell that person to go suck on a lemon, because it's definitely not your internet. I see it all the time. I'll be in like a public server or I'll be playing with friends and they're like, oh no, look, your internet connection is going really bad. I'm like, it's not my internet. It's just the fact that we have too many people on the server. So I know the feeling. And just, like I said, but sometimes it is your internet connection. You just got to kind of play with it a little bit and kind of like figure out where your middle ground is to make your game run well, but allow other players to connect as well too. Okay. Once again, if you're also playing and you're having crashing or any other inconsistent errors like that, that's a whole different story. That's a whole different situation altogether. But always, go back to knowing that if your connection is green, other people are red, and you're running around fine and not having a problem, your computer's fine. Your internet connection might not be, but you're just gonna have to play around with it and figure out by following those steps to figure out, okay, is it internet or is it just the fact that I have too many mods? Is it the fact that my computer can't handle people connecting to me? But hopefully you'll be able to figure it out, and this video helped you in a way. Thanks again for watching. My name is All Fun and Games on Twitch TV. If you guys want to hang out with me, join my Discord. It's in the link below. Make sure that you like and subscribe if you've enjoyed watching my video so far. I hope all of my tutorials are helping you. I enjoy making them a lot. I love Don't Starve Together. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, everyone.